When you really think about it though, Chicago been corrupt since day one, since Al Capone and all them. Then you got the 80s and 90s snipers on the roofs. Then you got what's going on nowadays. It's been corrupt, bro. So I'm not shocked that the police be working, you know what I'm saying, really be doing dirty work. I'm just shocked that it took this long to expose the secrets of the rack. A lot of secrets they don't tell you about.
What if the cop pulling you over was actually a criminal himself? Well, in Chicago, some officers weren't just breaking the rules, they were running the streets like a gang. Robberies, fake raids, planted drugs, even murder plots. The Special Operations Section, SOS, was an elite citywide Chicago police unit that turned criminal, robbing targets under the guise of law enforcement. Between 2003 and 2006, SOS officers conducted illegal traffic stops and warrantless searches, stealing large sums of cash and valuables while filing bogus police reports to cover their tracks.
No, don't get me wrong. They've been doing that. They've been doing that. If you lived in Chicago for over 5 years, you know about the undercovers. You know about the dicks. The dicks will hop out and do whatever they want to you, bro. Especially if you don't know what's going on or you just give in to like the little peer pressure. Boy, they'll take you downtown and spin you around. No cap. Now, the one thing I will say, usually they only care about guns. You got a little loud on you, you'll be all right. But it's still going to make you throw it out. Sometimes they might take it, smoke it. So you never know what's going on, but they going to be on you. Especially you pull up on, let's say you pull up on Sunday Night in Essex. I seen them, nigga. I done pulled over the Dixon, pulled up behind me. I don't even know where they just appeared. I don't even know where they just came from. Hopped out fast and I can even like stop the car and put it in park. Already hopped out. That's what they all know.
In one 2004 incident, SOS members stopped a driver without cause, took his house keys and raided his residence, walking off with roughly $450,000 in cash that they never inventoried. The ringleader, Sergeant Jerome Finnegan, later even plotted a murder for hire in 2007, attempting to hire a hitman to kill a fellow officer he suspected would testify against him. The scandal prompted a joint state-federal investigation and the disbanding of SOS. By 2011, Finnegan and several other ex-SOS officers were hit with federal charges, including civil rights violations and tax fraud, and multiple officers pleaded guilty or were convicted for their roles. For years, Sergeant Ronald Watts and his tactical team ran a reign of terror at the Ida B. Wells housing projects, shaking down residents and dealers for protection money and framing those who refused to pay. Watts and Officer Khalid Muhammad would routinely plant drugs on innocent people or fabricate charges to extort cooperation. In 2012, an FBI sting finally caught Watts in the act. He stole money from a homeless man posing as a drug dealer, leading to his guilty plea on federal theft charges and a 22-month prison sentence. But the fallout didn't end there.
22 months? 22 months? Are you serious, bro? He had 2 years, like really a little under 2 years in that. For that? You know how many people he got arrested? How many people he just ruined families? He ruined like. He got 22 months. He's not even gonna be in Gym Pop. You know he's not gonna be in Gym Pop.
Starting in 2017, courts began overturning hundreds of convictions linked to Watts' corrupt arrest. It became the largest mass exoneration in Chicago's history, with over 200 wrongful drug convictions tied to Watts' crew vacated to date. The victims, almost all black residents of the housing project, spent a combined 274 plus years in prison for fabricated charges. Now, Chicago now faces costly civil suits, more than 180 lawsuits are pending, and has already paid out millions, including a $7,500,000 settlement in one case, to compensate those wronged.
Dozens of people who say they were framed by a corrupt former Chicago police.
I ain't gonna lie, I support that though.
So
Get your money.
Drug convictions have been thrown out connected to Sergeant Ronald Watts. Today, 88 more people filed a petition to be exonerated on wrongful drug convictions. This morning, many of them gathering outside the site of the former Ida B. Wells projects where Watts had been assigned. The group wants a judge to force Cook County State's Attorney Kim Fox's office to review each case.
We just coming out for the first time of the day to get a snowball and some chips, and they ended up with me in handcuffs, 3 months pregnant, and incarcerated for something that I didn't do. We're just trying to get my life back together. I have 5 children that I have to provide for, and with this over my background, it's kind of hard for me to get the job that I need.
Eddie Hicks, the fugitive boss of a ripoff crew. In the 1990s, Sergeant Eddie C. Hicks led a crew of officers who exploited their badges to rob drug dealers. Posing as DEA agents on phony narcotics raids, Hicks's team would use fake search warrants, counterfeit police badges, and even unmarked squad cars to storm targets' homes and stash houses.
Wow.
They seized drugs and cash only to sell the stolen narcotics and split the loot among themselves at a secret meeting spot they nicknamed the Gym. When federal indictments came down in 2003, Hicks skipped bail and vanished, going on the run for 14 years. He was finally captured in 2017, found living under an alias in Detroit, and brought back to face justice.
You was in Detroit, and I don't get me wrong, you got away for 14 years, so you was doing something right. So maybe you know more about this than I do. But I'm not gonna be living in Detroit. Are you crazy? I'm finna be at least in Arizona, Texas, Mexico, right there, New Mexico, some. Telling you, I feel like them boys coming. I feel like that pressure getting to me one day. We're going right across the border. Not going to prison. No way. No, not especially for something like that. I'm going down private. Rest of my life. Over with.
We convicted him in 2019 on racketeering, drug conspiracy, and extortion charges, as well as bail jumping. In 2020, at age 71, Hicks was sentenced to 13 years in federal prison, a delayed reckoning for a rogue cop who had managed to evade the law for over a decade.
At 71,
Sergeant
bro?
Xavier
No.
Elizondo and Officer David Salgado devised a scheme to fabricate informant tips and obtain bogus search warrants, all to enrich themselves. In 2017 and 2018, while assigned to a Westside gang unit, they repeatedly lied to judges to get search warrants by using phony John Doe informants, then raided homes to steal cash, drugs, and even cartons of cigarettes from unsuspecting residents. After each raid, they would turn in some evidence but pocket much of the cash, and they filed false police reports to cover up the thefts. The FBI, suspecting their scheme, eventually caught them through covert surveillance and an undercover sting. In October 2019, a federal jury convicted Elizondo and Salgado on all counts of conspiracy, theft, obstruction of justice, and false statements. The following year, a judge handed down stiff sentences. Elizondo got 87 months, over 7 years in prison, and Salgado received 71 months, nearly 6 years. Both disgraced officers also faced civil lawsuits from families whose homes they invaded, underscoring the lasting trauma their fake raids caused. Detective Reynaldo Guevara's wrongful
It's
conviction
not stopping.
DET. Reynaldo Guevara has been accused for decades of framing suspects and coercing false witness identifications in murder cases during the 1980s and 1990s. Now, his sordid legacy is being undone in court, case by case. In recent years, judges have tossed out conviction after conviction tied to Guevara's investigations, citing egregious police misconduct. Chicago has even led the nation in exonerations lately, largely thanks to these cases. Between 2021 and 2023, dozens of people convicted on Guevara's watch were exonerated as new evidence of innocence emerged, and the trend only continues in 2024, 2025. By mid-2025, at least 51 wrongful convictions, mostly homicides, connected to Guevara had been overturned, amounting to hundreds and hundreds of years of unjust prison time for the
Bro. That's why it's just, when you in the streets, everything's stacked against you. You gotta worry about the cops doing their job, the cops that's trying to act like gang members, the gang members that's on that, girls setting you up, where your mama will stay, where you stay. You gotta get the money to get out of there right now. You gotta have stat, like, it's so much that go into it. Y'all be trying to glorify it, bro. I promise you, it's not what it looks like. It's not that many street people. Out of all the hoods in America, it's not that many people in these hoods that can have the lifestyle that you want to live as a D-boy, still have the money to take a loss, go put up for a lawyer, sit down for a second, then come back. Now everybody has that money, bro. Most people don't have that. Most times when somebody go down for a lawyer or go down for a body or something, they got to get a lawyer, and that costs. They ain't coming back from that.
victim.
Invoke my constitutional rights to remain silent.
Since retiring from CPD in 2005, Guevara has kept a low profile and left Chicago for Texas.
Yeah, that's what I would do. He should just cross the border. It's something smart.
WGN Investigates tracked him down last year, living in a quiet San Antonio neighborhood.
Too far from the border.
I'd like to talk to you about what happened in Chicago.
Here's the Texas police video you didn't see back then, eventually obtained by WGN Investigates through a public records request. After declining to speak with us, Guevara ran inside his house, leaving his dog on the doorstep.
Mr. Guevara, don't leave your dog out here.
He knew it was over with. He knew.
But picking up the phone to call police.
I'm a retired police officer from the city of Chicago, okay?
Oh, okay.
I moved out here 3 years ago. And there were pipes over there. Oh, there they are.
Okay.
We want to talk to us inside.
Guevara is used to shying away from cameras
Right.
on the street and in the courtroom. In legal proceedings, the now notorious former Area 5 detective has pled the Fifth repeatedly, remaining silent to potentially avoid criminal charges.
Best thing you can do.
I'm not going to answer that.
Why are you even here? You could have said you don't want to answer none of
I
this.
wish to answer that.
6 men who spent decades in prison for a 1987 murder were exonerated in 2025 after DNA tests proved none of them were involved. Their case is one of many overturned due to Detective Guevara's alleged misconduct. Guevara himself retired in 2005 and has never been criminally charged, maintaining his innocence while invoking the Fifth Amendment in civil depositions. Nevertheless, the city of Chicago has been paying out settlements to Guevara's victims. One recent settlement was $17,500,000 for a single wrongfully convicted man, and a federal investigation into the pattern of wrongful convictions has cast a harsh spotlight on the CPD's oversight failures. The wave of Guevara exonerations, including the dramatic DNA-based exoneration of those 6 men in July 2025, has become a stark reminder of how one detective's code of silence and misconduct can wreak havoc on countless lives.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. Yeah, it's just better to just have everything up to date with your car. Don't be doing no illegal activity. Don't be wilding out here in these streets. Because with people out here like this, you ain't got to worry about getting locked up, getting locked up by the streets, or tricked off the streets. They gonna make you get off the streets. They gonna make you sit your ass down. So you gotta be careful with people like this in every county, every city, every town. You gotta be smooth when you out here. You never know who you talking to.